Hello friends, welcome to my channel or welcome back. Today I wanted to talk about some of the plants that I currently own, and these types of plants are actually my favorite. They are in the Calathea family or the prayer plant family. They are in the Calathea family, also known as the prayer plant. Why do I keep saying pant? Prayer plant family. And they are my favorite because their leaves are just incredibly beautiful. So these are all the ones I currently own right now. I have 5 and I'm obsessed with them. They are obviously not normally on top of my kitchen table like this, but I actually keep these on the back patio all the time because these types of plants really thrive with really high humidity, and here in Florida we have tons of that, so they love being on the patio. That's where they thrive. But I really just wanted to talk about, for one, what kind of calatheas I have. Some are technically Limerantas like this one, and I wanted to talk about, you know, what I've learned from them, my experience with them, how to care for them. Some of them are, I mean, they're all pretty similar in some senses, but they're also, you know, very different in others. So the first one I'll talk about is this Limeranta that I mentioned. It is a lemon lime Limeranta. It is absolutely stunning. Still some water in the bottom of that pot there. It's absolutely stunning. This one, I really love them all, but I don't know, this one might be my favorite. The only reason why I'm hesitant to say that it's my favorite is I'm still trying to figure him out. You know, when I first get plants from the nursery, what I like to do is I like to check them out, make sure there's no bugs. I like to clean their leaves. And obviously then I like to do some research on them and then make sure I put them in a spot where they're going to be happy and healthy. And so I knew right away this would be great on the patio. And you know, and I cleaned its leaves and, you know, put it in a spot where it gets a decent amount of light. So that's one thing about all of these. They don't like bright, direct light. That can burn their leaves. It can make their pretty foliage, you know, it can make the coloring dull and go away. So you really don't want to do that. You want to have these in, my patio's shaded and the patio faces the east. So it gets morning light, which is not as harsh as afternoon light. It's not as hot. And then the rest of the time it's just, you know, like a medium to low indirect light, and they love that. So that, I think the lighting's been good. One other thing too about watering with them, these plants like to be watered more often, I would say. You know, if you let the soil completely dry out and you don't water it, their leaves are going to start curling on the edges, and you'll know you're doing something wrong. So like, for example, like some of these leaves they're kind of crinkly. I don't know if you can see it from here, but they're a little crinkly. I mean, it's got new growth coming in. There's new leaves coming, so that's a good sign. You know, and I can't tell if its leaves are if its leaves are droopy or if this is just the shape of the plant. So I'm still kind of figuring him out. He's pretty new to my plant family, but I love him. He's really beautiful. And you know, definitely when you get a plant just from the nursery, just, you know, keep it in its pot for a little while. Just put a cute cover pot over it, but don't repot them right away. You know, let it get, you know, acclimated to its new environment. Give it some time. And yeah, so that's the lemon lime Limeranta. Okay, I'm gonna talk about this one. This is called a Maui Queen. And let me tell you, she's definitely a queen. She has definitely given me trouble. I put her on the patio I made sure she had the correct kind of light, and she had these big, gorgeous leaves, you know, like these, and within the first couple of days, they turned brown right away, and they started falling over, and I had to cut them off, which was really sad. I hate to do that, but it had to be done. The leaves were dying. So, you know, I think it's happier now. I think it's gotten acclimated, but you know, one thing to note about really any of the plants in the Calathea family, it's very common and almost like really nothing you can do to prevent like some browning around the edges, which I really don't like when leaves have any brown on them. I'm pretty proactive about any of my other plants, like if they've got brown leaves, you know, trimming the brown off or just removing the leaf, you know, cutting it off completely, which I know is pretty aggressive, but I don't like the way it looks. You know, I just think the plant looks healthier when it doesn't have that. But with Calatheas, it's really, it's kind of unavoidable. It's pretty common with them. So I think this Maui Queen's doing better. You know, pretty much the same requirements with light as the lemon lime. Same thing with watering. You know, especially if you have it outside like I do, and if you live in Florida like I do, where it's super hot, you're gonna wanna water them more often because obviously the heat's gonna dry out the soil quicker. So that's something to consider. I mean, I probably have to water these, and the size of the pot depends too. Or if you have a smaller pot, it's gonna dry out faster than if you have a bigger pot. But just on average, I'd say probably every 3 days, since again, they're outside. And one thing about Calatheas is they like filtered water. Again, especially if you live in Florida like I do, the water here is very hard and there's lots of traces of leftover stuff. I don't even know what it is really. I should know that, but I don't. But I know that Calatheas don't like it. So I have to give them filtered water from the fridge. So try to remember that when you're walking around with your watering can, if you've got the filtered water for these high maintenance Calatheas, because that's what they like. But yeah, this one's so beautiful. I mean, she's got like these light feathering strokes down the center. I mean, oh, it's just so pretty. I love these plants. So, and I love having them on the patio because you're just relaxing and it's like the great spot to just vibe and really look at all the plants. And so that's my favorite. He's big and beautiful, and I'm not gonna keep him there because you can't see my face. I probably should have looked this up before I started the video, but I didn't. I can't remember what this one's called, so I'll make sure I make a note on the screen of what this one's called. But this one's doing really well. This was the first Calathea I got that I put on the patio. He sits in the corner of the patio on a pedestal table. He loves it. He's thriving. He's reaching out. And oh, if you didn't know this, why they're called prayer plants is because during the day they open up so that their leaves can get the sun, and then they close up at night. So it's pretty cool because you can watch them move. So they're very lively plants, which is another thing I really love about them that makes them really fun. But I mean, this thing, like, it looks like it's hand painted. It's just so pretty. It's so pretty. I mean, you know, especially if you're someone like me who likes a lot of neutrals. I'm not a big color gal. And so, you know, flowers are really beautiful, don't get me wrong, and I love to receive flowers. But, you know, when it comes to having plants in the house, I just prefer greenery. I like a lot of neutral colors. And so these are great because they just provide something so different and artistic and something that really catches your eye without it being, you know, like a bright red flower or something like that. So, yeah, I can't remember what this one is. But again, same type of deal with the light, same type of, you know, schedule with watering, like every 3 days roughly. And again, filtered water. And this one is also still in its nursery pot. And I don't even have a cover pot on it yet because it's really just a nice black pot, and that's what I'm gonna put it in anyways. because it matches the pedestal table I have, which at some point I'll show you when I do a tour of my patio. But yeah, so I've just left him alone and he's really loving life. Okay, so again with ones that I don't know and should have looked up. This Calathea this one's my most recent purchase, I believe. Again, same thing in his nursery, but oh, this one's called Calathea Freddy. Look, he still has the sticker on it. So he is a he. His name's Freddy, Fred for short, of course. And okay, let's see, this one, so same thing. It says partial shade, bright and direct, water when dry. And I guess this guy can get 2 to 4 feet tall and wide. Needs high humidity, which, you know, I knew that. So, Calathea Freddy, that's what this one is. So this one's not like super drastic with his foliage like some of these other ones are, but he's still very handsome and I love him. And he's a nice addition to the patio. And I've just got this little cover pot, which I kind of wish it sat in there a little bit more so this green lip didn't hang out, but whatever. Oh, he's very dry. He definitely needs to be watered. I'm gonna have to water this after this video. Remember to do that. And this one, I love this one. This is I feel like a lot of people know about this one. This one is a rattlesnakecollathia, and he's just got like, they're like shaped like feathers, and they're long and beautiful. And again, they just look like they've been hand painted on. And this one has been doing super well on the patio. I mean, he really doesn't have like any brown tips anywhere or edges. Maybe some of these in the back do a little bit, but really not bad. He's thriving. There's lots of new growth happening. This one's so tall. I love this one. And this one really, he's kind of midway right now, but in the morning he's a lot more open, and at night he's like all the way closed. And what's cool is at night it looks like a totally different plant because he's got this beautiful, like really deep purple fuchsia. I don't even know what to call this color, but it's so pretty. I don't know if you can see that really good, but he looks like a totally different plant at night with the purple leaves underneath. It's amazing to me, these plants. Like they're like colorful in their own way, but still neutral, and just the foliage on them it's really incredible to me. And same thing on the patio, getting lots of humidity. You know, I water it every 4 days sometimes with these guys. It just depends. And you know, when I first started getting into plants, I was scared I was gonna kill everything, and plants are pretty expensive these days until you start getting, you know, until you start accumulating a lot of plants, then you can propagate and then you can make your own new plants, which is really fun. But you know, when you're first buying plants, I mean, they can get expensive for sure. And it definitely depends on where you're going to get them, but they can get pricey. And so I was scared I was gonna kill my plants, and I downloaded an app that would tell me when I needed to water it, you know, where I should put it. And I would just water it like clockwork. Every time I got an alert that any of my plants needed watering, I'd water them. I don't really recommend that. Don't do that. Just do it the old-fashioned way. Put your finger in the soil, you know, just feel it. And sometimes you have to stick your finger like, you know, maybe 2 inches deep to, you know, really get an idea of how dry it is. And, you know, some plants, as soon as you touch the top of the soil, if it feels dry, you want to water it. Some plants like fiddle leaf figs, you want to stick your finger further down into the soil and make sure it's dry before you water it, because if it's still moist, then it doesn't need to be watered. But you know, these like to be watered. But don't overwater them. You can't overwater them, but you know, stick your finger in the soil, you know, go an inch deep or so, like really feel it around. And if it's dry, give it some filtered water and it'll be happy. And also right now it's springtime, so I think I have fertilized these. Maybe I haven't actually. I use a liquid fertilizer and I just put a couple of pumps like in the entire watering can and I stir it around. And I have a separate water can for these because I remember I have to put filtered water in them, and I actually don't think I have put any liquid fertilizer in there yet. So maybe that's something I'll do the next time I gotta water these. But in the springtime, you wanna fertilize them. That's what's gonna give them the extra nutrients that they need to grow big, and you know, you want big plants. Or at least I do. I want big plants. So I want them to grow as big as they can. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video on Calatheas and Limerantas. And you know, let me know in the comments what you think, if you have other questions about these plants, maybe what you'd like my next video to be about. Although I do think I have an idea of what I'd like to do for the next one. I think I'm gonna do a video on my raised garden bed and kind of do a tutorial on doing some planting of some seedlings and stuff. But if there's something else you'd like to see, let me know in the comment section. And again, if you have questions about anything. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video and enjoy the rest of your day. See you next time.